Hi, and welcome to another episode of our podcast. I am so excited today to have you, the one and only Jamari. And the reason why we have people here today is because, people say, real estate, people think it's a get rich quick scheme, something like that. And what I like to say is there is a lot of financial benefits, but it's hard. And you make good money for the hard work that you do. I mean, would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how long ago did you get started in real estate?
Oh, it was about with in general, or
Yeah.
I remember talking to you, Julie, in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
When you had the other office with Pete. And I had just did a little bit here and there. I was trying to just stumbling around as trying to bird dog or whatever. So that's when I started, like in the early 2010s.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is here's my first memory of you. Okay, so we've got this live event in our office, it's a paid for live event. And I mean this with great respect. So we're having this live event, people pay to be at the event, and I would say the event was probably a good hour from your house. This gentleman drives to our office and shows up for the live event and wasn't even registered, right? I mean, what was your thoughts that day when you came to the event? You just was like, well, if I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah, I was like, I got to do something, so I'm gonna just go here on faith and see what happens.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I mean, I love that. I mean, to be able to, have that much confidence in yourself. A lot of people, they get started in this business, and a lot of people have a lot of money, right? Well, that wasn't the case for neither you or me, right? Neither one of us grew up, I don't believe, with a silver spoon in our mouths, right? So tell us, I want to get down to, well, first off, I want to say this gentleman has done multiple deals. I mean, how many deals do you think you've done?
At least, I think I'm up to 15, 16 now.
Yeah. So and explain what that is. So you've either wholesaled them or you fixed and flipped them. For people that just don't know, kind of explain to them what it is you do.
Okay. So all of my deals up until this last one I'm doing now are wholesale deals, meaning I find a distressed property, and then I negotiate a deal with the owner of the property. We go under contract, and then I go and find a buyer for that. And let's say I would get it under contract for 50, and then I find a buyer who will buy the house for 60, and I essentially assign the contract over and make the difference, which will be 10,000. So that's wholesale. But now I'm currently working on my first fix and flip project.
Yeah. So for those of us that don't know, I mean, what is a fix and flip?
It's the same process initially. Find a motivated seller, and get a deal, get it under contract. But then, with the help of Partner Driven, of course, we bought the property, and then we do the repairs, then put it back on the market when it's all fixed up and sell it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that project is going to be done this week, right?
Absolutely, it'll be done.
So his first deal is his first fix and flip is going on the market this week. I mean, it is a big deal, and I've so enjoyed watching the process. This guy literally has taken the fix and flip and followed the renovation all the way from start to finish. And a lot of times that's not done, right? Except for on TV. So it's cool for people to see, what's coming next and what's coming next. So I think, you've probably got a better idea, especially working with the contractor you're working with, the process of getting things done.
And not only that, Julie, that's going to help me with wholesaling, because now I understand the process. Now when I negotiate, I can say, okay, it's going to take this, this, and this. So you need to do better on the price. And I know because I've seen it.
Yeah, so you have a better idea now of what it really costs.
Exactly.
So if a kitchen needs to be redone, it's a lot more work than people think.
Exactly.
To get everything out, to put all new stuff in. So let's go back to the beginning. So I'm really proud, that you've been able to do a little over 15 deals, and you're just on your way for more. But I think people should know it's not necessarily easy, is it?
No, not. It was not an easy journey, but it was worth it.
Yeah. So going back to when you were first starting, so we were talking about sending handwritten letters, right? And then, not that that's fun, right? Sending a letter with a handwritten envelope, putting the stamp on it, sending it to motivated sellers. I remember you doing that. And we were talking, and he literally said to me, I'm at the blood bank. Like, I'd never heard this before. And I said, excuse me, you're at the blood bank? And he says, yeah, I'm literally donating my platelets so that I could afford to send those mailers. Like, I want you to understand the dedication and the love for your success to go do something like that. What was in your mind? Like, did you just believe in it so much that you decided to do that? Like, why did you do that?
My belief in you and Pete and the partner-driven family, I was like, I gotta do whatever it takes. Pete always talks about whatever it takes to get it done, you know. And if I gotta sell my plasma to get this money to drive for dollars or whatever, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, looking back now, you probably don't regret that at all, do you?
No regrets. I'm thankful I was able to think of that, you know.
Well, you know, a lot of people are sitting, you know, maybe where you were back then. Obviously, you're doing a little better financially now, which is great. But when someone's at that very inception, right, I think in your mind, it was done deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was a done deal for you. How do you think, how did you get from, I know about this strategy to it's a done deal? Like, how could that help somebody?
Well, when you see something that resonates with you, and you see you see people who are successful, once you get it in your mind, this is what you want to do. You just have to commit and don't look back. You know, Pete always says, once you you know it in your gut, you know this, you know this, you know, you just got to take action and you know, and associate with those people, and just and gravitate towards those people as much as you can, and just keep going. You know.
Well, here's another question, because I know people struggle with this, whether they're in partner driven or not. And we want everybody to be successful, whether they're with partner driven, right? But there's people that are sitting here right now and they're watching this. They're going to YouTube. They're going to social media because they want to gather as much information as possible. Because I totally believe, like, if you want to do something, surround yourself with that information and the right people.
Right.
There's people sitting here watching this right now that are like, they haven't done their first deal and they're on the verge of giving up. What's your advice to that person?
My advice is, I know you're out there. Don't beat yourself up, because everybody goes through this when they're learning something. The next step is, now that you've gathered the information, align yourself with somebody who is in a much more successful position, that's doing exactly what you want to do, and let them guide you. You know, that's what got me to the next level with partner driven, and that's why I knew this was it, because it was exactly what I was looking for. And what got me to get my first deal was these people. Julie, Pete, and the family, they guided me, you know, and that's what was missing. It what got me to the next step. That's what I would recommend for anybody.
So somebody, you know, let's say gets a mentor, you know, and it's one thing to be taught how to do something. It's another thing to have the gumption not to give up.
Right.
I want you to go back to that moment, because a lot of people are sitting here. It's not the information, it's the fight in themselves. What advice could you give somebody that wants to do this, but what advice do you give them not to give up? Like, how, I mean, that is so much harder than said than done, because we always say, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, but that's not easy.
Right.
I mean, not with anything in life. I mean, you're in the gym, you don't have to do that, right? You know, but you don't give up. I want you to look and talk to this person that's on the verge of giving up. They know that they're worth it, right? They have a family that supports them. They want better for themselves. They want better for their family. How do you not give up?
Well, I know there's something in your life. There's a relative, there's a friend, there's something that will motivate you, and you have to find that and ask yourself, why are you doing this? You know, what is your main goal? Do you want a better life for yourself? Do you want a better life for your family? Is it just not to going back to a job and not having to be in that rat race anymore, like I was? But you just got to find something that drives you, and once you do that, align yourself with people who also know their whys, and that's the biggest difference. That's the biggest thing, you know. So find out why you're doing it, and how this would, and get into that feeling of how it would feel just to be in a better position than you are now, you know, and hold on to that. And every time you take action, think about that feeling, how much better it will feel for you to be in a better position, you know, and just keep going and hold, and keep around the right people. Don't let negativity invade you, you know, stay around the right people and hold that vision.
I love it. That is such great advice. So let me ask you a question. Are you full time in real estate right now?
I'm full time, thankfully.
Yeah, congratulations. Tell me, what did that feel like? Well, what did you do before? Let's start there. So what were you doing to make an income for yourself, to feed yourself, to pay car insurance, all the whole 9 yards? What were you doing before this?
I was full time Uber Eats. I was driving for dollars while I was driving for dollars.
Absolutely. So when you didn't have to go to that app anymore on Uber Eats and wait for the next one and pick out which one's going to give me the best tip, how far is this ride, which is the most efficient, what did it feel like the day that you deleted that app off your phone?
Man, it was just, I was like, wow, I really have this time freedom. I can work on my own schedule now. I don't have to keep picking up this food and, having to deliver it and then have people look at me crazy sometimes when I'm delivering late, even though it's not my fault. You know what I mean? I have time freedom now. It's just the freedom that I have with that. It was just, there's no words to explain how good it felt to have that freedom.
Yeah, I bet it felt good. So how does it feel, though, to be full-time in this business? When somebody asks you what you do now, what do you say?
I solve people's problems that just happen to be related to houses, and I beautified the neighborhood one house at a time by solving people's problems, And I'm a connector. I connect people who need to solve a problem by selling a house with somebody who needs to buy the house to create, to fix it up and refresh and put it back on the market so that a family out there could realize the dream of affordable housing, and it's everything all a part in that chain. It all starts with me, you know what I mean? So that's what I do. I'm a connector and a problem solver.
I mean, I love it. And by the way, Jamari lives in Atlanta. I'd say you pretty much love everybody and everything in Atlanta, huh?
I love it. Yeah, I'm thankful for where I grew up in Clayton County, Georgia, and everything in Atlanta. Dawsonville, I just found Dawsonville. This is a great area up here.
Yeah, he's gonna move up here close to me. I'm just kidding. I love this part about and guys, a true investor did not call himself an investor. He called himself a problem solver. In real estate, right? We're looking for motivated sellers, right? And some of them, need their problem solved. Actually, all of them. I would say one of the most shortcomings of this business is people think about the money first. How many times would you say you've helped somebody out of their problem when it didn't even benefit you?
Oh, so many times. Like just recently in Clayton County, I helped a lady avoid foreclosure, didn't make any money off of it, just walked away and, just let it, and she helped her keep the house. How crazy does that sound? Help her keep the house. But it's just about solving people's problems in one way or another. Sometimes I make money off it. Sometimes I don't. But you just have to know that when you do things like that for people, the energy you put out always comes back.
So why in the world, like you're obviously here to make money, right? You're not doing Uber Eats anymore, right. So you got to have money coming in from somewhere. Why did you decide to help save her house? So by the way, just so people don't know, she's in pre-foreclosure, so that means she's been served a notice of lis pendens, basically a lawsuit stating that she's not paying her mortgage. So her property was up for auction. So you're telling me that you went there, you found her on a list, you went door knocking, what have you. You went there, and next thing you know, you got her to save her house, and you didn't benefit from it at all. Why did you do that?
It was just the right thing to do, and I believe I'm on a mission now to get the banks off of people's backs one way or another. And, this house I'm working on now, that was a pre-foreclosure that we bought, and I'll make money off that. But sometimes it's best to let them, keep the house, and I know I'm one of the crazies when I say that, but, I do believe in solving people's problems, and sometimes the best way to solve them is let them keep the house. So that's why I did it. And it's crazy whenever I do something like that, it always comes back around some type of way. People call me out of nowhere saying they want to sell their house, or I meet another lady who's in foreclosure that says she wants to move forward. It's like it always happens like that. That's why I understand the spirit of giving. I read the book The Go-Giver and giving back, and it always comes back in some type of way.
Absolutely. Blessings beseech blessings, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Jamari, I've really, really enjoyed having you on this show. And like, if this is the only video they ever see of you, by the way, he is all over TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Look him up, Jamaris Pearl. I want you to give that one piece of advice for someone that's just getting started. I know you've talked about so much, but if you had the opportunity to say one thing to somebody that's sitting there in that same position that you were, somebody that may have been a little bit discouraged or may have been there, I want you to talk to them. And what's the one piece of advice about this business or about getting your first deal or your second deal that you would like to give someone?
I'll say that it's a demanding process. It's a challenging process. It's not easy. But if you can stick it out and you don't give up and you just stick to doing the same consistent thing, stick to the basics and do that over and over again consistently, it will be so worth it. It will be so worth it. Not just for you, but the people in your lives as well. So don't give up. I know it's very basic, but just don't give up and keep at it and stick to the basics. Don't try to, don't try to do anything fancy. Just stick to the basics. That's the secret sauce: consistency and being brilliant at the basics.
That is awesome advice. Thank you so much, Jamari, for being here. I'm glad we got to spend today together.
Thanks for having me.
Many, many years to come with many, many deals. But thank you so much.
Thank you.